We're going to Zohar Vayigash, and what we wish to do is I wish to take it to Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, how they read the approach of Judah to Joseph. We finished the last with Joseph accusation and then Judah plea for Benjamin. Okay, which starts at if I'm holding Genesis 44:18. It says, then Judah came near unto him and said unto Joseph, yes, and said, O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak. So there is a whole turn when we read it, at least by the way Chassidut read it through the Zohar, is that actually Judah is saying to Joseph, I'm approaching you, saying to you that your status, that you being near the king or as being Pharaoh, is stemming from me. In Hebrew it says Bi Adoni. It's stemming because all kingship are in me, because this is my name, and there it's been settled. So don't be vexed that you should call me sir or my lord, and not me you. So it's turning the whole setup of what we see as having the power, being all powerful, and what actually is holding the power, that part which feels and looks feeble and weak. So weakness is actually holding power, and the approach from weakness is the ability to see that actually through engaging in a situation that seems that everything or all power lies outside of you, actually it's a mistake. In the weakness of oneself, there at that moment lies an enormous power. So this is the power of Nefesh, or what is called power of the soul, the awakening soul. Not the soul that decided to go on a spiritual journey. The soul that was called, that heard the calling. Okay. So it's we're reading from Zohar Vayigash. It's verse 10. It's a conversation between Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Yehuda, and we speak about the meaning. We always have to see the meaning of the location and the meaning of the time. So Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Yehuda were studying the Torah one night. Rabbi Yitzchak said, we have learned that when the Holy One, blessed be He, created the universe, okay, or created the world, He made the lower world after the pattern of the supernal world, and made the one correspond to another. Every detail in the lower world has a counterpart in the upper world, and He is its glory. both above and below. But what is this? So first let's look. They're speaking at night. When there is at night, there is we can look at it in it's an exile. So the approach of Judah to Joseph is the beginning of actually a consent. One can say consent to go into exile. To go into exile is actually to go into darkness, to go into the darkness night of the soul, meaning that there will be there everything that is yet to be reformed. We'll meet there everything in us that need to be reformed. So it seems that what Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Yehuda is discussing is actually that the Creator left space and time to be reformed above as below. It means that if we reform ourselves down here with our approach, it repairs itself or reform itself as well up there. And if it repairs itself, so the correspondence already suggests that we need to find the meeting point, the approach, meaning that Yehuda, by his approach to Joseph, is saying to us how actually we can bridge the two worlds as well, the higher worlds and with our world. And yet they don't know, so they meet at night in the place that you don't know, at a place which is 1/16 of death. This is it's a search. They're starting a search. What they're actually looking is for that connection between the upper world, and the lower world. And actually, he's saying something very important. He's saying, and this connection is the glory of the higher, and both of what is above and what is below. Meaning, the fact that they need the meeting point, and in a way they mirror each other. It's the glory of the higher. It means that what is important for the Creator is the meeting point or the extension of itself down to our world. This is where the glory, or that which is dear and important, lies. Okay. So we continue. Rabbi Yehuda said, assuredly it is so, and he created Adam above all, because Adam in itself includes and completes all the parts of creation. So it means that Adam is not only higher or only lower. First, to be called Adam, it means that it's a composed. It has in it already in itself. When we say Adam, it has in it the meeting point of higher and lower. Is it clear what I'm saying? Okay. This is what the Zohar is saying. Rabbi Yehuda said, and it's right for Rabbi Yehuda to say it, assuredly it is so. And he created Adam above all, who includes and completes all the parts of creation. This is the meaning of I have made the earth and created man upon it. Yeah. Surely he does not need to remind us that he made the earth. So, why it is written, I have made the earth? Because, why I've made the earth? Because I created men upon it, who exist to complete its unification unto one wholeness. That is the purpose of the universe, of the purpose of the world, yeah? And its perfection is man or Adam. So there's now a complete different reading of the approach of Judah to Joseph. In a way, in the human conscious meeting point, it is to change and to allow all the family to activate the destiny of going into exile as it was promised to Abraham, in order actually to form the vessel that can house an infinite light. You have to be included with a huge vessel. So to be included with the will to receive, the big will to receive of Egypt as the epitome of culture of that time. To be included in it, this will actually ensure that there will be a template of vessel that can actually be the model of approach. But the Zohar is taking it into a deeper meaning. Deeper meaning is saying that Judah and Joseph represent actually the relationship of the higher world and the space in between that man should reform or build a bridge into. Because for this bridging, the whole worlds were created. Well, if we look at what we sort of learn in Kabbalah all the time, is the way that the world was formed. We see that actually all this part of the createe was called an empty space. Empty, why it's called empty? Space cannot be empty, so otherwise it's not space. So it could be empty because in a way God prevented, or the creation or the light of wisdom prevented itself from extending that. So it was a space that was left for human to decide to call in, to actually evacuate themselves, the thinking of themselves, in order to create this space, the inner space for the Creator to extend itself into. But it was left as a choice, and this is the bridging, the decision to allow the space that I occupy with concern to myself, to develop it into a space that is concerned with the ability of the Creator to extend itself to humanity. Okay? So this is how the Zohar is reading it. Okay. So we'll continue, and then I'll stop and see if you have some questions. So this is what he say, that is the purpose of of all the worlds. Usually there's no word of universe. It's all the worlds, and its perfection is in man, because it's It's a conglomerate, one can say, of two opposing, opposing nature. That if in ourselves we find, in between ourselves, we find a way to hold them together consciously, this is the bridge that they cause. Okay? This will allow that which is of completely different nature, which is bestowal, which is the light, to actually join the vessel, which is a will to receive, but turn itself into will to receive in order to bestow. So this. Okay. So I want, okay. Let's read 12. He opened the discussion with a verse, thus say El, Hashem, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spreads forth the earth, and that which comes out of it, he that gives breath, which is also soul, to the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. This verse has already been explained. Nevertheless, thus says El, Hashem, he that created the heaven, refers to the Holy One, blessed be he, high above, namely, Bina. Now, Bina is the source of all spirits. Yeah. Who created the heaven? The Bina is Bereshit, in the beginning, which is the source of all spirits. Who created the heaven, which is Zeranpin, Ruach. For Bina continuously improves Zeranpin by emanating and giving him Mochen, basically emanating and giving him lights. He that spread forth the earth, and that which comes out of it, namely the Holy Land, the bundle of life, the Nukba, Malchut. The Nukba actually gives a soul to the people upon it. That which gives soul to people upon it is the land, the Nukba, that confers souls. So it seems that it's coming from Bina, it's going through. This is the way one can say the consciousness of this composed creature, which would be called Adam, is starting from Sphira. Sphira is a quality. Okay? From the quality of Bina, there it's the engine that gives light to Ruach or to Zerampin, which gives it to Nukba, to Aretz, which can actually impregnate it and then give it to human being as a soul. Okay. So Rabbi Yitzchak is saying, Rabbi Yitzchak said, it is all above in Bina. He disagreed with Rabbi Yehuda, who said that the phrase gives a soul to the people upon it alludes to Nukba. For there, he wants it to allude back to Bina. Bina, the soul of life, comes out into the land, Nukba. The land receives the soul and issues it to all, as the river that flows, receives from the Bina, holds all the soul, and issue them to everyone in the land. The Nukba, she receives and distributes them to all men who are worthy of her. So first we see that there is a question of worthy, but what is actually the argument between Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Yehuda is about, one can say, who holds the power, or one can say, who hold the authority upon distributing souls. And this is exactly the question between Judah and Joseph. What holds the power? The approaching, the female, the Nukba part, the approaching part, or that which we approach, or Joseph? Okay. Now I'm moving into it. It seems that again the answer goes back to what we spoke in the beginning. That it's not a question who holds the power, because the question is whether we will succeed to make the connection. And at that moment, we need to connect three stages in ourselves. The soul, the Ruach, which is, one can say, the ghost, and the spirit. And how we create bridge in between them. This is the issue. Okay? So it goes to chapter 15, okay, or verse 15. I'm skipping 14. It doesn't matter. I just wish to say that when we speak about 15, in the Zohar it say spirit. It has been translated here into soul, but it's not. It's spirit. Okay, so I'm going to read it as it is written in the Zohar itself, in the original. Okay. Now let's anyhow read 14 as well. So you'll have. So come and behold, when the Holy One, blessed be He, created Adam, He gathered his dust from 4 directions of the world. He created him on the site of the lower temple, the secret of the Nukba, which is the lower temple, and then He drew upon him, one can say, the spirit of life. Yeah. Then he drew upon him the spirit of life from the upper temple, which is Binah. So we see that there is a connection, and there's still no function for Zeranpin, for the connection. So then the Zohar is saying the spirit consists of 3 grades, and therefore has 3 names, just like the supernal secret: Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. The Nefesh, the soul, as has been explained, is the lowest of them and comes from Nukba, the lowest of Sfirot, which is Malchut. The Ruach, or ghost, in its sustenance, okay, it rules over the Nefesh, being of a higher grade, and is drawn from Zeranpin, from the 6 Sfirot, yeah, to sustain it well in everything, both in Chokhmah and Chasadim, both in wisdom and in grace. The Neshama is the supreme existence, meaning the spirit, namely the light of Binah, which is higher than the light of Zeranpin and the light of the Nukba. This means it is the source. So it's higher than Ruach and Nefesh, higher than soul and Pnevma. I think it's a better name. It reigns over all, being a holy grade superior to all, to Ruach and Nefesh. But then something needs to connect who has the power, the approach of Nukba to Ruach and to the spirit has the power actually to connect them. Okay? So these three are actually depends on the approach of Nefesh. Okay? So it's an importance of actually asking what in the soul can bridge itself to the higher part of itself, to the spirit, and get the light and the life from it. So the approach is Biadoni, meaning the quest or the prayer of asking, the prayer of need, and the prayer of understanding that there need to be a connection, and that what lies in us is actually the responsibility, if we know that, to create a connection, to create a bridge. So Judah is teaching us that approaching Joseph is not because there is not way to escape it, but because it's part of the responsibility of the working person to create a bridge to something that seems at that moment threatening and impossible. Okay. So this is sort of a big first round on this sense. This is why it will speak about actually the meeting point of the two messiahs. Two messiahs is one can say, two systems of how we think about the end of reformation or the end of tikkun, how it will come, how the lights, yeah, you can say the influence of bringing us into humanity as a whole, into fulfilling or completing the process of our evolution, of our consciousness, of our identity. There will be two stages, and one stage is called Messiah of the house of Joseph and Messiah of the house of Judah or David, yeah, which suggests that one is a preparation and the other is the power of revealing itself as a reality. So there will be always an argument of how to bring it in oneself, how to bring it into actuality, okay? how to make those two meet, the righteous one and the one who is the repenting one, who is the coming back, tshuva, yeah. How actually we can bring them to work together. Actually, it is the question of how to bring reception and bestowal to one vessel. So the whole approach need to be learned carefully, because it seems that a lot of the weight of our work depends on this attitude or this approach. The way we learn how to surrender, the way we learn how to differentiate, and the way we learn how to sweeten, depositing ourselves or delivering ourselves.